Okay, I wanted to give you an example of nicely folded blankets on a stall door. As I showed you earlier, when you fold your blanket, you can have it such that they lay nice and flat and organized along the stall. And let me switch my camera around. After a hard rain, we have a place to let the blankets dry out. So one thing I wanted to talk about was what temperature and what blankets are appropriate for the temperature. All right, I don't know if you can see this the way I have the camera, but let's see. So we're in fall, so we still have these nice days where it's 75 degrees plus and the flies are out. So right now we have fly sheets and fly masks. This horse has his own turnout boots, his own bill boots, all stationed nicely on his door for use. But being that it's late September now, sometimes it just rains, and that's what we had today. So this is the aftermath of the rain this morning. We have a bunch of blankets that are quite wet and they're hanging here to dry. But one thing that you want to think about is the outside temperature, because horses can run pretty warm if they're put under a blanket that has too much fill. And so I'm actually dressed as an example of horse blankets. I'm also very dirty, but I left the house thinking it's raining, it's overcast, it's going to be cold out. Well, it's actually not that cold. It's 65 degrees, and I over-blanketed myself. So this is just a standard rain jacket, which I would compare with horses to a rain sheet. And I tell my staff that you want to try and dress your horse as you would dress yourself. I think it's a pretty good, safe guideline. So, as you can see here, I had a second layer on. It was not a good idea. So, a lot of horse blankets are designed like this. This one has an outer shell that's waterproof and a mesh lining on the inside. So most of the blankets that the horses went out in today, because it's very mild temperature, are designed like this jacket. As you can see, these are all fairly lightweight. Some of these are waterproof, some more than others. But they're all just basically what I would call a raincoat. So if you're unsure about what type of blanket to put on your horse, think about what would you wear. You know, stick your head outside, get a good feel for the temperature. I myself thought it was probably 50 degrees out, and I put on an inner lining. Now, this would be comparable, lining in a raincoat would be comparable to what I would call a medium weight jacket or a medium weight blanket for a horse. Blankets come in different fill levels, usually a sheet, which is similar to just a light raincoat, a light rain jacket. Mid-weight, which has a little bit of fill, such as this one, which just has a little bit of a light filling to it. It's not super, super dense fill. It's a polyester fill. It's a pretty lightweight, but it's still a layer of fill. Two heavy blankets, which have a heavy fill. If you think of a really heavy-duty down coat that you would wear in the middle of winter, that would be a heavy fill. Some blankets some medium and heavy blankets are waterproof on the outside so that they're appropriate for wearing out in the rain or the snow. And then there's also what we call stable blankets, which are their indoor blankets. So, for example, if this was a horse blanket, this would be a stable blanket because it is not waterproof. It's barely water resistant. It's just a layer of warmth. So that's what stable blankets are, a layer of warmth. A sheet, for example, let me turn my camera around again. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but this blanket is a lightweight sheet. It would be similar to a long sleeve sweatshirt or some sort of lightweight jacket like that. So this is appropriate for mild weather indoors, whereas a rain sheet, such as this blue one that was on Sheldon, this one, you can tell it's got the consistency of a more water resistant or waterproof jacket. As the weather gets colder, we often put more layers, and of course it depends on whether your horse has been body clipped or if he's in a full coat as to what sort of layers you put on your horse. But I just wanted to give you an example of how I try to think about dressing my animals. I hope this has been helpful.